Before we even start this video, I do want to give some updates regarding Pedri and Araujo. Many have been asking when could we see Araujo and Pedri return to Barcelona? Is everything going like it was explained originally? So here are going to be the quick updates. It says here according to AS that Barcelona want to maintain maximum caution with both Araujo and Pedri. Araujo is expected to return against Celta Vigo on September 23rd, while Pedri is expected to return on October and during the international break. So we should expect to see Araujo come before Pedri, but I think that Barcelona can pull through. We just have to commit with using Christensen very well, Inigo Martinez also very well, and also with Gavi performing, and also Gundogan organizing the midfield. If we can have these players perform at maximum level, it would not even feel like we lost Pedri or Araujo. But just like Xavi did say, a Barcelona without Pedri is a very different Barcelona to the one with Pedri, and I think that you and me can all agree on this. But for now, we're just gonna have to work with what we got, and we have to continue to support our players that are available currently. So that is going to be the latest regarding these two players, and now let's move on towards the defensive midfield position, because look, Deco is doing something very strange, very strange, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Deco has been really eyeing for pearls in South America. And when I mean by pearls, I mean Fabricio, Diaz, and a new player that we have not spoken about in this YouTube channel, Gabriel Moscardo, who does play for Corinthians. And so let's start with this Brazilian player first, since I know that many of you guys are excited to always hear about brand new Brazilian rising talents coming through the ranks and being eyed by Barcelona. So if you guys do not know who this player is, he is a defensive midfielder, a lone pivot, which is something that Xavi Hernandez and Deco and Barcelona all around, right? They know that they need a pivot. So yes, he is a pivot, and he has also been eyed by Chelsea. Chelsea, about 2 or 3 days ago, made a bid for Gabriel Moscardo, which was 21 million euros fixed with no add-ons or any sell-on clause. But Corinthians said, there's no way. We want 21 million euros. We know how special this player is and what he could become in the future. We want 30 million euros, not 21 million euros. And ever since that bid that Chelsea made 2 or 3 days ago, Chelsea have yet to respond. And now we sit here today hearing that Barcelona are interested in this player, and they're going to have to bid for Gabriel from Corinthians for around 30 million euros, because that is what Corinthians is asking for. Now, by no means, and I know for sure, Joan Laporta, Deco, and Rafa Yuste are not going to want to get into any bidding war. If the player and Corinthians invite a bidding war, Barcelona will step back. So it's going to be up to Barcelona and Deco building that relationship with the player and saying, hey, look, we want you to come to Barcelona. We believe that you are a special player and we know what you could become, and you can maximize your potential here at Barcelona. So we're going to have to be very persuasive, and we're going to have to do the exact same thing we did with Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque was convinced by the Barcelona project, and that is why he said, ignore all other bids from any other clubs in Europe. I only want Barcelona. And we need the exact same thing to happen with this player, Gabriel Moscardo. And I think that he can be persuaded, right? He could be seduced by Deco, because Deco did start in Corinthians, and he's also very close to the Brazilian market. So we'll see what Barcelona can do. Now, I also want us to know, right? And I want this to be very ingrained in everybody's heads. This is a player that is only 17 years old. He's very young, right? Very young, probably 2 or 3, 4 years younger than you, right? Watching this video. And Barcelona are aiming to get this player, and they will probably make a move for the player in January 2024. He will be 18 next year. So he's still going to be a very young player. And like I've said, Barcelona's going to have to make a bid higher than 21 million euros and maybe around 30 million euros. But the main reason why Barcelona is eyeing this player is not to bring him in and have him become a quick fix, right? Have him be a impactful player within the first 2 or 3 games through the season, right? He's not a player that we see that can fix our short-term problems. Barcelona are fixing their short-term problems with Oriol Romeu and being paired with Frankie de Jong. That is just going to be our case for this season. And with him being with us this season, I have no problem, right? I have no problem with Oriol Romeu because he has been performing at a high level. And I think that all of us can agree on that. He has been phenomenal for Barcelona as of late. But Barcelona are definitely thinking about the future. And I'm talking about in about 5 to 6 years. And that is why they want to sign this player here, is to invest in the future, which makes this team even more exciting. Barcelona know how to find short-term solutions, and they know how to invest in the future. And so I think that right now the project is looking a little like this. They know that the short-term solution is Oriol Romeu and Frankie de Jong becoming the double pivot of Barcelona. In the 3 to 4 year range, I think that Xavi Hernandez is going to want to go for either Kimmich or Zubimendi, right? Give us a medium-term solution. But in the long term, this is where players like Fabricio, Diaz, and Gabriel from Corinthians do fit in. Now, who knows if Barcelona are going to be able to bring these two players in the same winter transfer window? We'll see. But that is the overall game plan for the defensive midfield position. And to just go into even greater detail on the case of Fabricio Diaz and how he compares to the other defensive midfielder that we are eyeing, it says here that if Deco gives his approval, the young Uruguayan pearl Fabricio Diaz could make his arrival in January for a transfer of less than 9 million euros. And so yes, this player Fabricio Diaz was going to go to Brighton, but it never happened. I don't know it wasn't even announced or even talked about in the media on just what happened with this deal, but everything did seem like he was going to go to Brighton. And I said on Twitter that Barcelona lost a very important signing. Like really, they couldn't spend 9 million euros on someone like Fabricio Diaz, who can give you a high level in about 5 to 6 years, but it did not end up happening, and that's a good thing for Barcelona. They still have him as an option. And so everything does indicate, based off the reports that we have been reading, that Deco is eyeing to reinforce the defensive midfield position with Fabricio Diaz and also Gabriel Moscardo. Now, I don't know if these players are going to be short-term impacts, right? Like they come in and they surprise the world. They become the best defensive midfield players in the world. We never know, but this is a long-term solution. It is an investment for the future. And I want to, again, just make that very clear. And to compare these two players, you can just see that they're very much different profiles. Very different. I don't know if Deco and Xavi are trying to build the next double pivot with these two players because they do resemble what Frankie and Oriol is, but this is what it seems like right now. These two players are different in a good way. Fabricio Diaz is someone that shows he has very good technical ability on the ball and with high football IQ. And bro, like he was the captain for the Uruguayan national team during the World Cup at just the age of 18, 19 years old. He always makes the right decision on the ball. He knows where to pass it. He knows where to shoot the ball. He knows how to recover the ball. He knows everything. And then if you look at Gabriel Moscardo, you can see that his defensive capabilities is much more superior to Fabricio Diaz. And this is a reason why Deco wants to sign the players, because defensively, he is phenomenal. And for someone who is only 17 years old, his game can only evolve and his level defensively can only go higher and higher. Just look at these successful defensive actions per 90. Gabriel is superior, and the percentage of the defensive duels won, they're almost the exact same thing. It's just that Gabriel does it much more consistently. And then you look at the slide tackles per 90, amazing. And I'm going to be showing you guys some videos so you guys can see just how good Gabriel is defensively and how he does give that extra difference in the midfield compared to Fabricio Diaz. Again, Fabricio Diaz in possession is much more superior, I believe, based off what I have been seeing. I haven't seen too much of these two players, to be honest, but based off what I have seen so far after seeing multiple clips, Fabricio Diaz is better in possession and Gabriel Moscardo is better defensively without the ball, and he knows how to recover the ball and switch play. Very Sergio Busquets-like. So the future is going to be a lot of fun. Who knows if Barcelona and Joan Laporta can achieve these two signings due to financial fair play, because in total they're going to have to spend around 40 million euros, right? So 9 million euros for Fabricio Diaz and 30 million euros for Gabriel from Corinthians. But if Joan Laporta, Deco, and Xavi think that this investment is going to be worth it, then they should go all in for it. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.